Michigan Out of Doors Online is brought to you in part by Mr. Muskie Charters, offering full-service guided fishing trips for walleye, muskie, bass, and sturgeon on Lake St. Clair and the Detroit and St. Clair rivers. Booking information is online at mrmuskiecharters.com. By Grilla Grills of Holland, Michigan, makers of wood pellet, charcoal grills, and professional pellet smokers. Grilla Grills are designed for ease of use to improve your grilling or smoking skills. More information at grillagrills.com.
Hey everyone, welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Olson-Silik, and we've got an exciting show for you this week. I'm going to introduce you to a family right here in Michigan that's been changing the way we shoot for over 45 years now. And Jimmy and Jordan have been working on some other exciting adventures for us this week too.
Well, that's right, Jenny. We do have a few more things on this week's show. We're actually going to kick off this week's episode on Higgins Lake, doing a little lake trout fishing there. You won't want to miss that. We're going to show you a product for you waterfowlers out there that may just revolutionize your time in the duck marsh. And I think we're going to have time for a bragging board as well. So lots of good stuff on this week's show. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger. It's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors.
What a beautiful day in the woods.
Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy. The wonder and the love of Michigan as the wind comes whispering through the trees. The sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream. It's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Country Smokehouse, a sportsman's meat processor and Michigan destination since 1988. Offers a variety of homemade smoked meats and Michigan-made products in-store and online. The Country Smokehouse features an outdoor barbecue and bar. Details at countrysmokehouse.com. By AnglerQuest Pontoons, a mid-Michigan company building boats for fishermen by fishermen. AnglerQuest Pontoons are designed for comfort and functionality. On the web at anglerquestpontoons.com.
To those who say we can't build a healthy economy while protecting the environment, DTE Energy has something to say. We're already doing it. Because you don't get to the forefront of cleaner, efficient energy by talking about it. DTE Energy.
Soaking in the rich tradition of Michigan hunting for over 30 years, Vanguard is proud to sponsor our friends at Michigan Out of Doors TV.
Here in the middle of beautiful Higgins Lake, trying to find some big lake trout laying on the bottom. This time of year, usually the bite's soft, picking up throughout the season, but we've had wonderful success. So let's hope we find some active ones this morning. Higgins Lake, we're looking at around 10,000 acres. Average depth, it really isn't an average depth because you have a shelf that goes out and breaks. We have depths up to 135 feet. As far as lake trout tips go, it's very simple. Big lake trout live on the bottom. Find the fish, stick it in front of them. They're a big lazy fish. Just take your time and go for them. We like to chase them this time of year in about the 90-foot mark. Fish on. Fish off. 0 for 1. All right. Trolling Lakers, you troll them like salmon. The key is just to slow down. Again, get down towards the bottom for your bigger fish. My rig today we are using is a stringer of cowbells with just some lead, just to get it down to the bottom. The secret is, again, finding your speed, finding the speed where you can stay close to the bottom and where the fish are active and they actually want to hit it then. And that's about all it takes for catching lake trout. Feels like what we're looking for. Small lake trout. He's pretty decent. Maybe 4 or 5 pounds. They're making us work this morning though, bud. I grew up on the west shore of Houghton Lake, fishing that from the time I could walk. And then about the time I turned 11 and 12, my father let me ride my bike up here. So the passion grew, and I spent many, many, many years getting skunked. If I caught one lake trout, it was a heck of a good day. And it wasn't until about I was 30 years old, then started having some really good success day after day after day. And it's just a wonderful feeling to be able to get up early in the morning, go fish for a couple hours, and wrestle some big, beautiful lake trout right in your backyard. You never know, some of the smaller ones get really angry, but this feels like it has some weight to it. Oh yeah, that's a better fish.
The fish we were catching were in a very small area, and for the most part, we weren't getting any bites outside of a small stretch that was only a couple of 100 yards long. So we continued to work that area over and over, hoping to find a few more fish.
Well, poking along, going over a pot of fish we found. Took a pass or two, but this time we generated a strike, and he found the boat. It was a good time. We hope to hook up on a few more real quick here. Stay tuned. Feet, should see some color.
Higgins Lake can provide quality lake trout fishing throughout the year, but the summer is Nick's favorite time to fish for Lakers, with the bite getting better and better as the summer wears on.
Ice fishing this lake for lake trout is much, much easier. You can have great success. Again, fish are everywhere. It's just spending your time and finding out where the fish are feeding at the particular time of day you're going for them. Early summer trolling is usually slow, progressively getting better throughout the year. This year I've been blessed with fish after fish. Every trip out, an average trip is 8 or 10 or 12 even hookups, and like today our batting average was 500. We went 4 for 8, and it was a good day on the lake. We got a small fish, medium fish, a little bigger fish, and then not a king size, but one heck of a nice fish, to say the least.
Our last fish of the day was our best, measuring in at just over 36 inches long. And as part of an ongoing contest in that area, Nick tagged this beautiful laker before we released it.
Well, we just landed a real nice fish, 36 inches, about 13 pounds. Put a tag in it. Here in Houghton Lake, Higgins Lake, and St. Helen, we have a Catch Me If You Can contest. Many tagged fish, no purchase required, no entry fee. You catch a nice fish, or any fish rather, with a yellow tag in it, take it in Lyman's on the lake, you automatically receive a $50 gift card, and at the end of the year, everyone who catches a fish is in a raffle sort of drawing for $100,000 and a brand new fishing boat. So nothing better than catching fish, and if you're lucky enough to catch one with the tag, then at least you have $50 worth of gas to cover it for the day. So it's a win-win, a lot of fun. Like I said, we put a tag in that one, so come find them.
Well, we ended up going 4 for 8 and enjoyed a beautiful morning on the water. Special thanks to Nick for showing me around Higgins Lake.
For those of us who enjoy the shooting sports here in the great state of Michigan, the name Magna Port is a household word, but you may not realize all of the services that Magna Port provides. Magna Port International is located here in Mount Clemens, Michigan, and has been a staple in the shooting and hunting sports for over 45 years now. It's another great story of necessity being the mother of invention, and it all started when Magna Port founder Larry Kelly had an idea to help reduce recoil and muzzle lift on his handguns. Today, Magna Port offers services that have expanded to include handgun, shotgun, and rifle porting, custom handgun conversions, threaded muzzle brakes, and custom gunsmithing. If you've watched Michigan Out of Doors over the last few years, you've probably seen some of the Magna Port brakes and ported barrels in action. Larry Kelly passed away in 2010, but his legacy lives on here at Magna Port. The impressive lobby of the Magna Port facility is home to the Handgun Hunters Museum and Hall of Fame, where all of the game here was taken with a handgun, and most all of them by Larry himself. We're going to take a look back for a minute to an interview with Larry from 2003, when Gabe Van Warmer sat down with him to hear how this whole thing got started and how the Magna Port process was invented.
Years ago, I used to work on the Apollo space project, cutting metering ports and fuel and guidance control valves. And this is what, before we went to the moon, you know, and didn't think we'd ever make it there. And what makes the metering port with the oil flowing through it makes the valves function. So I thought, well, being a gun enthusiast and everything, maybe if we cut metering ports at the end of a muzzle, could we direct some of the gas out and counteract the muzzle lift and soften the recoil? And that's when I started. I started playing with it, and in 1972, I came up with the name Magna Port and then formed the corporation and started. Well, I was a Michigan resident, born here, and rabbit hunting, and had pack of hounds, and pretty soon from a shotgun I went to a .22 rifle, and eventually ended up shooting at the rabbits .22 pistol, and then I tried it with a Ruger 44 mag, deer hunting, and I just got the bug, and I've been with it ever since, and that's over 40 years. You can't say it's like archery, because there's bow hunting, you know, you're very limited in your distance, but it just seems to be more sporting and more fun than rifle hunting to me. I just never went back to rifle hunting.
When Larry passed away nearly 9 years ago, there were some big shoes to fill. But his son Ken stepped up to the plate and took the helm along with his two sisters, and the Magna Port legacy continues to change the shooting world one gun at a time.
Me and my two sisters own the company now. I've been here since I was 12. My other sister has been here since she was 16. And pretty much when Dad was hunting 6 months out of the year, we were always working. And you know, his legacy is the hunting and the big handgun hunting aspect of it. Mine was just keeping in production up and caught up, and keeping everything coming in and going out, and working on the different conversions and keeping everything going.
To say he keeps everything going is a bit of an understatement. With a lifetime of experience under his belt, Ken is a true craftsman, and it shows in his custom works. Among his many awards, the one he's most proud of is the prestigious Pistol Smith of the Year award, presented by the American Pistol Smiths Guild. While his sisters keep the office running, Ken rolls up his sleeves and spends his days in the shop, working side by side with his machinists. This is where they use Bridgeport mills, lathes, grinders, and EDMs, or electrical discharge machines, to mill, crown, thread, port, polish, and jewel endless orders of revolvers, semi-auto pistols, rifles, and shotguns, and the orders just keep coming.
We do work for Smith & Wesson. We did a lot of work for a lot of the major manufacturers over the years, and we still do quite a bit for manufacturers, and then we also do distributor work, and then we do orders for gun shops, and also individual work. We'll get people coming in for either a muzzle brake or shotgun porting or handgun porting. A lot of times they'll set up an appointment, and they'll come in, they'll go out for breakfast or lunch, and they'll pick up their gun the same day. The main benefit of the Magna porting is to reduce the muzzle jump. You get excellent muzzle jump reduction and also probably 20 to 25% reduction in the perceived recoil. So a lot of these, the ladies that with the carry guns and all that stuff, it's almost, an awesome benefit for them because they don't get that big snap in their wrist, and then you get 20, 25% reduction in the recoil there too to help out. And then same thing with the muzzle brakes. You're going to go probably 60% muzzle jump reduction, but then you're going to get 45 to 50% recoil reduction. So all your big magnums and all that stuff, it just turns them into a pussycat. Well, Dad being a pioneer in the handgun hunting field, he took and he's the first person to shoot the African Big 5 with a handgun. And the big thing with the porting, with the reduction in the muzzle jump and the recoil for that second follow-up shot, where you really need it, that's where the porting helps out. And Holly, she was deburring muzzle brakes for our muzzle brakes aspects there. And Jim was threading up on the lathe. He's our muzzle brake installer. And Nick, he was crowning a Model 12 Winchester, putting a flat crown on there, and that's going to get a bead drilled and tapped on it. Brett was running a semi-auto slide on our semi-auto porting, because what we do with the semi-autos, we go with a bigger port through the slide and a smaller port in the barrel, just in case any of the gas dissipates, you don't trap a lot of gas underneath the slide. We're so versatile in everything that we do. We got the muzzle brakes for the big heavy hitting rifles. We got the standard porting for the rifles, on Magna porting on the pistols, semi-auto porting. So you got all your tactical guys. Then you got your revolvers for the revolver shooters and the handgun hunters. And then we got for shotguns, we got the trap shooters, the sporting clays shooters, the skeet shooters, and a big thing right now is the youth shooters with the AIM program and the Scholastic trap program that it's just phenomenal on growing up there, and we do a lot with the different programs to offer special pricing for the kids, and that's just growing leaps and bounds right now. The youth, that's our future. It just goes to show a safe use of firearms where you get these youth, they can go shoot and it gives them something to do, and actually they're real good shots compared with the video games, hand-eye coordination and all that stuff there. So they get some pretty good shooters out of them there, and they're great programs.
Magna Port is doing its part to keep the future of shooting sports strong, and that's something that its founder Larry Kelly would have been proud of.
The biggest thing I learned from my dad is you treat everybody good, everybody equal. The biggest compliment I get on my dad from a lot of customers and people is, he's so down to earth and so easy. You could always go up to him and talk to him. And that's what the biggest legacy my dad was. He took, and anybody could talk to him, and he loved his customer base.
I would say that's something that runs in the family. Ken Kelly is carrying on his father's legacy in more ways than one. Special thanks to all the good folks at Magna Port for making the shooting sports a better place right here in Michigan's Out of Doors.
Well, in our next story, we're going to take a look at a Michigan sportsman who came up with a product that may just revolutionize your time in the duck marsh. Whenever we come across a product that I think folks would actually use, we try to get them on the show. And when Tom from Just Ducking showed me this chair for marsh hunting, well, I needed to see it in person.
Hi, I'm Tom from Just Ducking Hunting Chairs. This is my invention. How the chair sets up in the marsh, goes into the mud, stepping on the shovel bar, gets it down into the mud. Have a seat, give it a squat to set the chair, and basically lean back and you're ready to hunt.
And what are some of the advantages of this, you think?
You can stay out in the field quite a long time, and everybody knows the longer you're out there, the better your hunt success is going to be. I invented it 10 years ago. I got the patent on it 2 years ago. Started selling them last year. You can find us up in Northwoods Outfitters up in Pinconning, on eBay, or on my website, justduckin.com.
And what made you kind of come up with this idea?
We started hunting on milk crates and buckets, wooden tees that everybody knows about. I got tired on my back, so I invented a chair to be able to sit out in the mud. Every time you get up on a milk bucket or a milk crate, it would flip over or your pad would drop in the water, so I created this chair. The backrest is the key. Without the backrest, I was able to sit out there for an hour or two, and after inventing the chair, I'm able to sit out there all day, no problem. So it worked out pretty good.
And can you use it in deeper water too? I mean, what is the kind of ideal conditions or?
Anything with a soft bottom, this chair is going to work. You can set it in 4 foot of water if you can find a chair. Good for you. Marsh is the best place for this chair. My friend goes out to Colorado, he hunts in a river, and he sets it up in the river, and he fishes a little bit on his legs, and then he goes, sits down, and fishes off the chair now. So for duck hunters, it's the marsh chair. Basically, the longer you sit out there, the better your hunt.
Well, if you have ever stood for hours in the duck marsh, you know how handy this chair would be. I am always impressed by the Michigan sportsmen and women that we have here in our great state. We have some creative folks for sure who come up with some really cool products to keep us in the woods or on the water just a little bit longer. So if a long sit in a duck marsh sounds up your alley, well, you now know who can help make that happen.
Thanks for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. Make sure you stay tuned in the upcoming weeks. We've got a lot of exciting summertime fun headed your way. And if you are out and about and you do miss the show on your PBS station, you can always check us out online.
Well, that's right, Jenny. Online is a great way to kind of keep tabs on us. Of course, our website is MichiganOutofdoorsTV.com. Full episodes of the show there. We're also on most of the social media sites. And if you're ever on YouTube, you can subscribe to our channel there and get an email every time we post something new. Lots of good stuff coming over the next few weeks. And as always, if we don't see you in the woods or on the water, hopefully we'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or greenstonefcs.com. By EOTech, a Michigan company, equipping law enforcement and sportsmen alike with quality optics, creating jobs for Michigan workers. On the web at eotechgear.com. By Huron Lady River Cruises in Port Huron, offering daily sightseeing trips and private cruises for all ages. Sightseers will experience the International Blue Water Bridge, Great Lakes Freighters, the Fort Gratiot Lighthouse, and more. Huron Lady River Cruises on the web at huronlady.com. Closed captioning provided by Randy's Hunting Center, serving Michigan as Ruger & Leupold's National Dealer of the Year, and inventor of Ruger's 450 Bushmaster rifle.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land. I am a Michigan man. From the Keweenaw down to St. Joe, Kalamazoo, east to Monroe, to St. Marie and back again. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hand.